Welcome back to the Wheel of Wisdom series. In this video, I will be covering the third attribute, wisdom. Wisdom is the culmination of the first two attributes of courage and patience. Wisdom is both a very new and ancient key to living more conscious and peaceful in this moment. Yes, knowledge is powerful, and spiritual wisdom is so much more. What if we combine all we've learned with our heart and soul? Hang in there, and I will share a few techniques I use daily to enable this to happen. Why is this so important? Wisdom by itself is really just data or knowledge leading to intelligence. In today's world, we have such a vast array of information at our fingertips, it can easily become overwhelming and lose its proper context. We have access to anything almost instantly, and I really feel we are overloaded with constant information. In some ways, it's easy to get addicted to this stream of constant knowledge. The downside is all this information and input without proper context and understanding can create feelings of anxiety, separation, and possibly even fear. None of these are really good for healthy, abundant living. By stepping into spiritual wisdom, we are in essence filtering all this knowledge through our hearts and even more importantly, through our higher selves or soul. The result is a much more peaceful, empowered, and connected way of being. Today we're exploring spiritual wisdom. And ironically, I got really stuck in my mind planning and writing the script for this video. I think at one point I had some 100 pages all put together with key points that I felt were important. Then it hit me. Apply the same technique I use when I create or co-create the Spiritfractals. And that's exactly what I'm about to share. When I start a Spiritfractal, it's a process of surrendering to inner and higher guidance. This process transcends my ego. I know in my mind how fractals work and fully understand the process with all its intricacies, mathematics, and geometry. I've also invested thousands of hours with various fractal applications, discovering each of their nuances and knowing them like the back of my hand. All these skills are very useful and in a sense a necessity, as it allows me not to have to think about the process and creates the space for being open and guided by a force much greater than the physical me. So then what is this force? Well, it's my guide, spirit, or my soul. And if I'm creating a spirit fractal for someone specifically, it becomes a dance with both their soul guides and mine. It is this union of cooperation that builds a wisdom far greater than I could with the knowledge I have on my own. From my experience, this wisdom is profound and felt in the heart. This heartfelt knowing can be so overwhelming at times. I've had streams of tears running down my face when the Spirit Fractal was complete. And these weren't tears of sadness. It's as though every cell in my body was in absolute awe of the knowledge and brilliance of Spirit. This is union of mind, heart, and soul, and is something we all have access to. Here are the key steps I try to do daily. I say try because we need to stay flexible and conscious of making a change without judgment. The more we do it, the better. It should be heart-driven, not a we have to or else. The first step is inner silence. One of my favorite series of books is The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East by T. Spalding. In this series of books, the Masters often refer to this silence as the Great Silence, the place where all knowledge originates. Through silence, the heart listens, the spirit awakens, and wisdom naturally flows in. Similarly, a sacred sect known as the Essenes saw silence as an essential tool for connecting oneself with the higher realms of spirit. It allowed them to purify their mind, stripping away distractions and ego-driven thoughts, creating a stronger union with the divine. Through silence, it enabled them to hear the subtle voice of the soul, which would normally be drowned out by the noise of daily life. Practice moments of silence daily. Close your eyes, focus on your breath, and let go of your mind. Allow wisdom to arise within you. Taking time to quiet your mind and sit in silence is a powerful gift to give yourself. With practice, it becomes easier. It's normal for your mind to wander, especially in the beginning. If thoughts pop in, just gently guide your focus back to stillness. We can't forcibly empty our minds. We just want to reach a state of relaxed awareness where our thoughts can pass through without attachment or judgment. Gently open your heart and listen. Remember, we're connecting to our higher selves and energies from within us, not outside of us. The message can vary anywhere from words, images, feelings, even pain within our bodies. Stay open and connected to your heart. It'll get easier and clearer with practice. It's about connecting to your source, the very energy of life itself. This is not a wisdom of the mind, but of the spirit. Our goal is to go into a state of surrender, where the ego dissolves away and we become one with our higher intelligence. We all have this access available to us. It takes a little courage and patience. The second step is the power of purity. Spiritual wisdom is felt within the heart, more than any other place within us. Just like sitting in silence created the space for us to connect to our heart and higher selves, keeping our home or our bodies tidy also improves that connection. So what do I mean? We need to keep our minds free of negative thoughts, judgment, and anger. These are all actions that separate us from each other, and in turn they also separate us from our hearts and higher consciousness or soul. Light travels through a clean window a lot easier than through a fogged, dirty glass pane. If we want to improve our connection to the spiritual wisdom within us, a clean diet also helps. I know from my experience, if I'm working on a spirit fractal or a channeling, no alcohol is a must, not even the smallest amount. Engage in daily practices of forgiveness and love to purify your mind. Release judgments and embrace purity of intention. This is such a powerful transformative tool, and if you own a car, you can practice this one often. When you get cut off in traffic, it's not always easy, and I've tested this one over and over. Just say, I love you, and really focus on unconditional love towards the person that cut you off. It doesn't have to be out loud. The situation is almost instantly transformed. It works, and trust me, it's powerful. Most importantly, we need to love ourselves for any mistakes we make. The more pure we keep our minds and bodies, the easier it becomes for us to access our spiritual wisdom. Like all things, it just takes practice. The third step is integrating mind, heart, and soul. First, let's define the elements. Our mind is the gatekeeper. I was taught that wisdom comes from the mind through knowledge, logic, and critical thinking. Hence, a lot of years of schooling. Yes, these are important tools, and they're not really the full picture. Wisdom doesn't just reside in intellect. It's about how we process and integrate the information deep within ourselves. By training our minds to be discerning and conscious, we can protect ourselves from negative influences and align ourselves with higher wisdom. This will help manifest positive outcomes within our lives. When our mind serves as a skillful gatekeeper, it opens us up to inner peace, clarity, and spiritual growth, guiding us towards a life of intentional and empowered living. We also need to see our heart as the emotional compass. Our heart holds its own kind of wisdom, not based on logic, but on empathy, love, and connection. Our heart's wisdom is intuitive and immediate, allowing us to make decisions with compassion and empathy. By turning into our heart's wisdom, we can align our lives with our true self, heal emotional wounds, and experience deeper emotional and spiritual fulfillment. Ultimately, our heart helps us live with greater empathy, courage, and emotional intelligence, offering a path towards a more authentic and harmonious life. Our soul is the eternal knower, and is the timeless divine essence that holds the deepest wisdom and truth within us. Our soul guides us through life with an innate understanding of higher purpose, spiritual growth, and universal love. By aligning with our soul's wisdom, we bypass the illusions of the ego and connect with our true nature, allowing us to live in harmony with the divine and with the great flow of the universe. Our soul is the eternal witness to our journey, ever present, guiding us toward enlightenment and coming into realization of our oneness with all things. When we harmonize our mind, heart, and soul, our decisions, actions, and perceptions start to originate from a deep truth. We no longer rely solely on logic or emotion. Instead, we start operating from the full spectrum of our spiritual knowing. By living from this place of alignment, we stop being driven by fear, doubt, or external pressures. We begin to trust our inner wisdom, and that changes everything. Here are 3 powerful practices I do daily that can help you cultivate this wisdom. Daily meditation on stillness. True wisdom arises in stillness. Meditation quiets the mind, creating space for the heart and soul to speak. Even 5 minutes of stillness each day can bring about profound clarity. When you quiet the mind, the heart and soul naturally emerge, offering their wisdom more clearly. Heart-centered breathing. Focus on breathing through your heart. Imagine your breath flowing in and out of your heart space. This practice connects the heart's wisdom with your mind and soul. Research has shown that heart-centered breathing enhances emotional regulation and intuition. And lastly, soul journaling. Before bed, ask your soul one question and write it down. As soon as you wake up, write the first thoughts that come to you. Early mornings are a powerful time to access your soul's wisdom. Mystics believe that the veil between the physical and the spiritual world is thinnest just before dawn, making it the best time to connect with your higher self. In the end, the path to cultivating more wisdom isn't about accumulation, but transformation. It's not about knowing more, but being more aligned, more silent, more giving, and more pure. Wisdom concludes the first quarter of the Wheel of Wisdom and is an integral part of the trilogy of courage, patience, and wisdom. Courage and patience complement each other through wisdom. Without wisdom, courage and patience can be at odds. Courage may lead to acting too quickly, while patience might create unnecessary delay or hesitancy. Wisdom is the force that harmonizes courage and patience, making them not just reactive qualities, but spiritually aligned practices. Courage, when guided by wisdom, acts with clarity and purpose, avoiding recklessness. Patience, when illuminated by wisdom, transforms into trust and surrender, avoiding passivity. Together, these three attributes create a dynamic balance that allows for spiritual growth, action in alignment with divine timing, and deeper sense of peace within our lives. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Where in your life can you start listening to your inner wisdom instead of overthinking or reacting? If you found today's episode insightful, please like and subscribe. If you don't want to miss the next chapter in the Wheel of Wisdom series, hit that notification bell. In our next episode, I'll be exploring the fourth attribute, certainty. Until then, stay present, stay pure, and remember, spiritual wisdom is already within you, waiting to be discovered.